He asked me to do the unthinkable to save our marriage. What really happened will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting and shocking stories. The room is dim, lit only by the soft glow of the streetlights filtering through the curtains. I sit at the edge of our bed, my hands trembling as I clutch the fabric of my nightgown. The air is thick with a tension that has been building for years now, reaching a crescendo that neither of us can ignore. Sarah, his voice is a whisper, yet it slices through the silence like a knife. I need you to do something for me. I turn to look at him, my husband, whose face is a mask of both desire and desperation. His eyes, once warm and familiar, now hold a darkness that chills me to the bone. What is it, Mark? My voice barely escapes a mix of fear and resignation. He hesitates, his gaze shifting to the corner of the room where our dog Max lies sleeping, oblivious to the storm brewing around him. I want you to sleep with Max. I'll watch the words hang in the air, a grotesque request that feels like a violation of everything we've built together. My heart races, pounding against my chest as if trying to escape the reality of his words. You can't be serious. I manage to say, my voice a mix of disbelief and horror. I am. He insists, his tone hardening. It's something I need if you do this. I promise our marriage can continue as it was. I look at him, really look at him, searching for the man I married, the man I thought I knew. But all I see is a stranger driven by desires I can't comprehend. And if I refuse, I challenge my resolve, hardening. Then we're done, he says simply. His eyes cold, unyielding. The room feels smaller, the walls closing in as the weight of his ultimatum settles over me. I think of our life together, the laughter, the love, now overshadowed by this perverse demand. Okay? I whisper the word, tasting like ash in my mouth. But if I do this, if I go through with it, our marriage ends tonight, no turning back. He nods, a slow, deliberate movement, sealing our fate. I rise, my legs shaky, and walk towards Max, who wakes up, his tail wagging in confusion behind me. I hear Mark's breath quicken, his anticipation palpable in the heavy air. The scene is set, the stage prepared for a performance neither of us can truly understand the consequences of, as I reach for the door to our bedroom, locking it with a click that echoes like a gunshot. I wonder how we got here, how love could twist into something so unrecognizable. And as I prepare to cross a line I never imagined, I can't help but wonder what comes after, what happens when the door opens again and we step out into the wreckage of what was once our life. The morning after the house feels alien, a hollow shell of what it once was. I move through the rooms, my footsteps echoing in the emptiness. Each step, a reminder of the night before. The sunlight streaming through the windows seemed almost mocking, casting long shadows that stretch like accusations across the floor. I find myself in the kitchen, the heart of our home, where we once shared laughter over morning coffee. Now the silence is deafening. I pour myself a cup, the steam rising in curls, but it does nothing to warm the chill that has settled in my bones. As I sit at the table, my gaze drifts to the empty chair opposite me where Mark used to sit. The absence is palpable, a void where his presence should be. My mind races, replaying the events, trying to piece together how we reached this point. The phone rings, slicing through my thoughts. It's my sister Laura, her voice filled with concern. "Sarah, how are you holding up?" she asks, her tone gentle yet probing. "I'm coping," I reply, my voice flat, betraying none of the turmoil inside. "It's just a lot to process." She sighs, the sound heavy with empathy. "Do you want me to come over? You shouldn't be alone right now." I hesitate, the idea of company, both comforting and overwhelming, maybe later. I finally say, I need some time to think. After hanging up, I wander back to the bedroom, the scene of last night's horror. The bed is still unmade, the sheets twisted and thrown aside in my haste to leave. I avoid looking at it, focusing instead on the mundane task of packing each item I place into my suitcase. Feels like a piece of my life being boxed away. The doorbell rings, startling me. It's Mark, his face, a mix of guilt and resolve. He stands at the threshold, not daring to step inside. "Sarah, can we talk?" His voice is low, almost pleading. I nod, stepping back to let him in, but keeping a distance. We sit in the living room, the space between us charged with unspoken words. "I didn't think it would come to this." He starts, his eyes not meeting mine. "I thought maybe it would fix us. Somehow fix us." My voice rises, tinged with incredulity, by breaking us in the most unimaginable way. He looks down, his hands clasping and unclasping in his lap. "I know it sounds insane. I felt like we were drifting, and I thought if you did this, maybe it would bring us closer, make you see me in a different light." I stare at him. This man I've shared my life with, now a stranger. "Mark, you've shattered everything. There's no coming back from this." He nods, a single tear escaping down his cheek. "I understand. I just wanted you to know. I never meant for it to end like this." The conversation feels like a formality, a necessary step before the final goodbye as he leaves, the door closing behind him. Feels like the final nail in the coffin of our marriage, alone again. I return to packing each item, a reminder of a life now lost. The weight of the decision hangs over me, the future uncertain. But one thing is clear, the life I knew is over, and from this wreckage I must find a way to build the house. Once a sanctuary, now feels like a mausoleum of memories. I continue packing each item, a heavy reminder of the life I thought I had. My hands move, mechanically, folding clothes, wrapping fragile items, as if by doing so I could somehow wrap up the pain and confusion. The silence is broken by the sound of my phone again this time. A text from my friend Emily, asking if I need help. I consider her offer the thought of someone else witnessing my shame, making me hesitate, yet the loneliness is suffocating. I type back a simple, "Yes, please," as I wait for Emily. I sit on the edge of the bed, the same bed where everything fell apart. My eyes catch sight of a photograph on the nightstand. Mark and I on our wedding day, both of us beaming with what I thought was unbreakable love. I pick it up, my fingers tracing our faces, now feeling like they belong to different people. Emily arrives, her presence a small comfort. She doesn't ask questions, just starts helping with the packing. Her movements efficient and silent. Her empathy is palpable, yet she respects my need for space. "Sarah, do you want to talk about it?" She finally asks, her voice soft, not pushing but offering. I shake my head, not trusting my voice. Instead, I hand her a stack of books to pack. We work in silence. The only sounds the rustling of paper and the occasional clink of items being placed into boxes as we move to the living room. My gaze falls upon the couch where Mark and I would watch movies, his arm around me, a sense of security that now feels like a distant dream. Emily notices my stare and gently touches my arm. Sometimes the hardest part is letting go of what we thought was real. She says, her words piercing through my numbness. I nod, feeling the tears well up again. I never saw it coming. How could he ask something like that? How could he think it would fix us? Lisai sitting next to me, her hand resting on mine. People deal with pain in strange ways. Maybe he was trying to find something extreme to shake up the monotony, to feel something again. But that doesn't excuse what he did. The doorbell rings again this time. It's Laura, my sister. She enters with a look of concern, her eyes scanning the room, taking in the chaos of my departure. "I brought some of your things from my place," she says, setting down a box, "thought you might need them." We continue packing, the three of us, each lost in our thoughts. Laura's presence brings a different kind of tension, one of familial support, but also of judgment. I can see it in her eyes, the question she wants to ask, but holds back as the day wears on. The house empties not just of my belongings, but of the life I had envisioned here. With each box sealed, I feel a part of me being sealed away too. The part that loved Mark, that believed in our future. The sun sets, casting an orange glow through the windows, painting the walls with the colors of endings. Emily and Laura leave, promising to check in tomorrow alone once more. I sit amidst the boxes, the house echoing with the absence of what once was. I pick up the phone, dialing the number of a therapist I've been considering for months. It's time I realize not just to leave this house, but to confront the psychological turmoil within me. The conversation is brief, an appointment set for the next day. As I lay down on the couch, not wanting to sleep in the bed that now holds such dark memories, I reflect on the day the challenges are monumental. Rebuilding my life, understanding my own identity outside of this marriage, and healing from the shock and betrayal. The night deepens, and with it my resolve tomorrow. I start anew, not just with a new place to live, but with a new understanding of myself. The journey ahead is daunting, filled with obstacles I can't yet foresee, but one thing is certain: I will not let this define me. I will find strength in the wreckage, and from this, I will rise. The room feels colder now, the warmth of the day having slipped away. With the setting sun, I'm alone, truly alone in the house that once echoed with laughter and love. The boxes around me are like silent witnesses to the unraveling of my life, each one a testament to the choices made, the lines crossed. The silence is oppressive, a heavy blanket that smothers any attempt at peace. I pick up the photograph again, staring at our younger, happier selves. The image blurs as tears fill my eyes, not just for the loss of Mark, but for the loss of myself, the person I was before last night. My phone buzzes, breaking the silence. It's a message from my therapist confirming tomorrow's appointment. The reality of seeking help, of admitting I need it, feels like another surrender, but also a step towards reclaiming something of myself. I place the phone down, my gaze drifting to the window, where the night sky is a canvas of dark blues and purples, stars, barely visible through the city lights. It's in this moment of quiet reflection that the weight of my decision to leave Mark truly hits me. Not just the act of leaving, but the understanding that I've crossed into a new territory of my life, one where I must navigate alone. The doorbell rings, startling me from my thoughts. It's late, and I'm not expecting anyone. Hesitantly, I approach the door, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and curiosity. Opening it, I find a small, unassuming envelope on the doorstep. No return address, just my name written in a familiar script, Mark's handwriting. My hands shake as I pick it up, the paper feeling like a live wire in my grasp. Back inside, I sit at the kitchen table, the same table where we shared countless meals, where he once proposed to me. The envelope seems to pulse with unspoken words. With a deep breath, I open it, pulling out a letter. "Sarah, I know words can't undo what's been done, nor can they heal the hurt I've caused last night. I watched something I thought would bring us back, but instead it tore us apart. I realize now how deeply I failed you, how my own twisted desires have led us to this point. I'm not asking for forgiveness, because I know it's too soon, if ever, but I want you to know I'm seeking help. I've made an appointment with a therapist, not just for us, but for me. I need to understand why I thought this was the solution, why I let us drift so far. You deserve better, Sarah. You always have. I hope in time you can find peace, even if it's without me. Mark the letter. Falls from my hands, fluttering to the table. The words are a mix of relief and a fresh wave of pain. His acknowledgement of his need for help feels like a small victory, yet it's overshadowed by the reality that our marriage is over. The night stretches on, and with it my resolve hardens. I realize that this letter isn't just Mark's goodbye, it's also my own. It's a severance from the past, a catalyst for my own journey of healing and self-discovery. I stand moving through the house with a new purpose. Per each room I enter, I see not just what was lost, but what could be the living room where we once danced to our song, could be a place of new beginnings, the kitchen where we cooked together, could be where I learned to cook for myself for my own joy. With a letter in hand, I walk to the fireplace, the cold hearth, a stark contrast to the warmth it once provided. I strike a match, watching as the flame catches the edge of the paper. The fire consumes the words, the ink curling and blackening, turning Mark's confession into ash. As the last of the letter burns away, I feel something within me ignite as well, a spark of determination, of survival. The house, with its empty rooms and echoing silence, is no longer a mausoleum but a starting point. I return to the couch, pulling a blanket over me, not just for warmth, but for comfort. The night is still long, the darkness outside a reflection of the turmoil within. But as I close my eyes, I'm not just escaping into sleep, I'm stepping into a new chapter 1, where I define the narrative. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. If you enjoyed this story, this will help us create more engaging stories for you. Thank you. Bye.